Are all humans selfish? Even you? According to the theory of psychological egoism, this is the case. This is the theory that says that all humans' actions are fundamentally just driven by self-interest. It might be obvious that if someone were to steal money from me to buy candy for themselves, then they were acting selfishly and only cared about their self-interest. But according to this theory, even if someone were to donate all of their life saving to cancer research, they were still acting selfishly. And this is because they didn't actually care about these people, they only cared about wanting to feel like a good person, or perhaps they wouldn't be able to live with the guilt of not donating this money, and because of this, they were still acting according to their own self-interest. How their action benefited other people was only a byproduct of them fulfilling their own self-interest. I noticed that quite a lot of people seem to be quite attracted to this theory when we're first coming across this, but I believe that this theory has a few major flaws, and I wanted to discuss these in this video. The first major flaw with this theory is that it's not falsifiable. This means that it cannot be tested or proven wrong by any evidence. This is problematic because this means that the theory is compatible with all possible outcomes, meaning that first of all, it's not scientific, but second of all, it doesn't really say anything about the world or how we act. A good example to demonstrate how this theory is non-falsifiable is if we, for example, were to find $100 when walking down the streets. No matter what we do with the money, we will be acting selfishly according to this theory. If we keep the money for ourselves, we're obviously selfish, but even if we were to turn the money into the police or donate the money to charity, we would only do this because we wanted to feel good about ourselves and avoid feeling guilty. This has to do with the circularity of this theory, which is its second major flaw. Their claim is that all chosen actions are selfish, or at least fundamentally driven by the self-interest of the actor. I say chosen because if someone were to kick me and I fell to the ground, that would be an action, but that would not have been a chosen action, and therefore my self-interest would not necessarily be fulfilled because it was not a chosen action. The thing with a chosen action, however, is that it has to have some kind of motivational desire, some reason that we choose to perform this action. Let's say my friend has been feeling a bit down. I have a desire to make them feel better, which is my motivation when choosing to perform this action. And maybe I go and buy some chocolate for them. This motivational desire for an action is the reason that we want to perform it. But the psychological egoist will point to that desire being fulfilled and say that, well, you only wanted to perform that action to fulfill that desire, and fulfilling that desire makes you happy. So they have now defined a selfish action as any action that fulfills the motivational desire of that action. Because when we fulfill the motivational desire, when we do an action that we want to perform, we feel happy, or at least we fulfill our interest of performing that action. So where the circularity occurs is that if we were to translate this into a sentence and rephrase this theory, it basically says that all chosen actions fulfills the motivational desire of the actor because all chosen actions fulfill the motivational desire of the actor. It's a circular argument. Something that I believe is quite important to differentiate between is also when the sole purpose or the main intention of an action is to benefit yourself, regardless of the effect that has on other people, and when your intention of an action is to benefit other people, but you also benefit yourself as a byproduct of that. Just because yourself feel happy when helping someone else does not necessarily mean that you did that out of selfish reasons. I mean, according to this theory, you could say that, but I don't think that's a good definition of being selfish. So if we instead were to define a selfish action as an action whose sole purpose is to benefit yourself, regardless of how that affects other people, and say that all actions are selfish in accordance to this definition of selfishness, would be to say that all actions we do to benefit ourselves, and we don't consider how that would affect other people. but then this could be falsified simply by someone performing an action that is supposed to benefit someone else, regardless of if they benefit themselves from benefiting other people, because that makes them happy. So I basically think that the definition that the psychological egoism has of selfishness is too broad. A good example of this is, let's say you see a little child standing and someone is about to shoot it and you jump in front of it and you die. A psychological egoist would say, well, you only did that because you wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you just let that child die, or you felt so happy in the moment that you were sacrificing yourself for that child that it was worth it. So you were still acting selfishly. And if that action is selfish according to that definition of selfishness, then I don't think that's a good definition. And a definition of selfishness where all actions fall into that definition, it's not helpful, and it deprives the word of its meaning. But to conclude this video, this argument is both circular and non-falsifiable, and this is the reason that I do not think that this is a very good theory. If you enjoyed this video and want to philosophy-related topics, feel free to give me a like and perhaps a subscribe. And comment down below, what do you think? Can humans act selflessly, or are we deemed to selfishness?